Have you ever found yourself staring into the fridge, maybe an hour after a perfectly good dinner, and just wondering, why am I hungry again? Well, you are definitely not alone. And today we're gonna get to the bottom of that exact feeling.
Right, this is the big question. Why am I always hungry, even right after I've eaten? It's so easy to blame it on a lack of willpower, but the real answer is way more fascinating. Trust me, this isn't about discipline. It's about biology and your body's own hidden messengers. So believe it or not, this feeling of constant extreme hunger actually has a clinical name. It's called polyphagia. Now, just hearing that kind of reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? This isn't some character flaw. It's a physiological symptom. It has real biological drivers. So what are they? Well, it all starts with your body's hunger signals. You've got this incredibly complex communication network that's constantly running between your stomach and your brain. And, it's pretty much all controlled by some really powerful hormones. Okay, so meet the main messenger. It's a hormone called ghrelin. You can think of it as the go hormone for hunger. It's made in your stomach, and when your stomach starts to empty out, your ghrelin levels go up. It then zips up to your brain with a very, very clear message. Hey, it's time to eat. But of course, for every go signal, there has to be a stop signal, right? That's where leptin comes into play. So if ghrelin is the one yelling go, leptin is the hormone that calmly says, okay, stop. It's released from your fat cells, and its job is to tell your brain, hey, we're good, we're full, we have plenty of energy. It's this delicate little dance between the two that, when it's working right, keeps your appetite perfectly in check. But it's not just about the hormones. The other major player in this whole hunger game is your blood sugar. And man, that can go on an absolute roller coaster ride after you eat. So let me ask you this, are you a big dipper? A recent study found that some of us experience these really big sugar dips about 2 to 4 hours after a meal. This is where your blood sugar doesn't just go down, it falls rapidly, way below your baseline. And that crash triggers this premature, really powerful sense of hunger long before your body should actually need to eat again. And the real-world impact of this is, well, it's stunning. The research showed that these big dippers ended up eating, on average, 312 extra calories every single day. Now, you do the math. Over a year, that could add up to about 20 pounds of weight gain. So yeah, these dips, they really, really matter. Okay, so we know a blood sugar dip can send out a false hunger alarm, but that's not the only thing that can trick your brain. Sometimes that feeling of hunger isn't about food at all. So let's talk about how to spot these crossed signals. Let's start with a classic case of mistaken identity: thirst versus hunger. Now, here's the thing. Both of these signals come from the exact same part of your brain, the hypothalamus. The symptoms can even feel super similar: fatigue, a little brain fog, feeling irritable. So it is incredibly easy to mistake dehydration for hunger and reach for a snack when what your body is actually screaming for is a glass of water. Oh, and lack of sleep? That's another major hijacker of your appetite. When you're sleep deprived, your body's entire signaling system just goes haywire. It cranks up the go hormone, ghrelin, while at the same time shutting down the stop hormone, leptin. And on top of that, it makes your brain's reward centers light up like a Christmas tree for high-calorie, high-fat foods. I mean, it is the perfect storm for overeating. And then, of course, there's stress. When you're anxious, your body gets flooded with the hormone cortisol. Now, cortisol's job is to prep you for fight or flight. And one way it does that is by cranking up your appetite to make sure you've got fuel in the tank. This is exactly why stress so often leads us straight to those so-called comfort foods. Okay, so we've seen all the ways our bodies can trick us into feeling hungry when we're not. But here is the good news. We can absolutely fight back with food itself. This is where we get into the science of satiety. That's the feeling of fullness, and how to pick foods that work with our bodies instead of against them. So what is it that makes a food truly filling? Well, it really boils down to 4 key things. You want foods that are high in protein and high in fiber, because those slow down digestion. You also want foods that are high in volume, from water or air, which physically fill up your stomach. And finally, you want foods low in energy density, which just means you can eat more of them for fewer calories. Basically, we're talking about whole, unprocessed foods. In fact, protein is so crucial that there's this really cool theory called the protein leverage hypothesis. And it basically says that our bodies are on a mission to get enough protein. So if your meal is low in protein, your brain is just going to keep on sending out those hunger signals until that need is met, no matter how many calories you've already eaten. And here's that theory in action. A study compared two different breakfasts, one with high-protein eggs and another with a lower-protein cereal. And guess what? The people who ate the eggs felt way less hungry and ended up eating significantly fewer calories at lunch. See, that's the power of protein right there. And some of these satiety powerhouses might actually surprise you. For instance, eating legumes like beans can make you feel 31% more full. Having some Greek yogurt before a meal could lead you to eat less pizza later. And get this, simple boiled potatoes were found to be more satisfying than pasta or rice. Who knew? Okay, we've got the science down. Now it's time for the master plan. How do you actually put all of this great information onto your plate? Let's build a meal that's literally designed to keep you full and satisfied. And you know what the best part is? You can forget about all that tedious calorie counting. The key is a super simple visual tool called the plate method. It completely takes the guesswork out of building a balanced, filling meal. It is incredibly simple. Here's what you do. First, fill half of your plate with non-starchy vegetables. This is going to give you tons of volume and nutrients for very few calories. Next, fill 1/4 of your plate with a lean protein. This is your satiety powerhouse, the thing that keeps you full. And finally, fill that last quarter with a fiber-rich carbohydrate for steady, long-lasting energy. And that's it. That is the formula. And here's a quick little cheat sheet to make it even easier. For that big veggie section, think leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers. For your protein quarter, you can go for things like chicken, fish, eggs, or even plant-based options like beans and tofu. And for those awesome fiber-rich carbs, choose things like quinoa, sweet potatoes, or even some fruit. You know, I love this quote from Dr. Joel Fuhrman. He said, "You have to get very healthy to desire less food." And that just perfectly captures the core idea of everything we've been talking about. It's not about restriction or willpower. It's about nourishing your body so well that it just naturally stops asking for more. So I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you feel that little rumble in your stomach, just take a pause and ask yourself, is this true hunger? Or could it be thirst? Could it be stress? Could it be a blood sugar dip? Listen closely. What is your body really trying to tell you? Thanks for joining us.